Welcome to the podcast series Organizational Psychology Insights by CareFor EAP, where we dive into knowledge from organizational psychology to support personal development, enhance well being, and create a healthy, happy, and highly productive workforce. I am Hoon Kun, your host. In this podcast episode, we will explore how emotional intelligence, EQ, influences negotiation skills, a crucial factor in a workplace and business environment. In negotiations, it's not just about logic or strategy. The ability to understand emotions, control personal reactions, and build connections with others is equally important. EQ helps us stay calm under pressure, adjust our communication effectively, and make decisions based on a balance between logic and emotion. By learning to read the emotions and motivations of the other party, we can achieve win-win negotiation outcomes rather than focusing solely on winning or losing. Our topic is negotiation skills is the key in logic or emotion. Negotiation is a communication process between two or more parties aimed at resolving conflicts of interest or differing perspectives. Negotiation cannot occur unilaterally. It requires the commitment of both sides to jointly find the most optimal solution. Negotiation skills not only help resolve conflicts, but also create value and bring mutual benefits to all parties involved. In a workplace, negotiation skills play a crucial role. A successful negotiation not only helps individuals achieve their work objectives, but also strengthens relationships, minimizes conflicts, and enhances overall productivity. This is particularly important in team collaboration, salary discussions, workload distribution, and conflict resolution. There are many reasons to initiate a negotiation. Psychologists have studied and identified three primary reasons that typically lead to a negotiation. 1. To overcome a deadlock. In a workplace, there are situations where progress is impossible without reaching an agreement. For example, if two departments have conflicting views or resource allocation, the project may come to a standstill without negotiation. Negotiation helps find a solution that enables both sides to move forward without disrupting overall progress. 2. To avoid an unfavorable outcome. In some cases, failure to negotiate can result in a negative consequence for both parties. For instance, if a talent is dissatisfied with their salary and considers leaving the company, a lack of proper discussion could lead to the loss of valuable talent for the company and a missed career opportunity for the employee. A reasonable negotiation can help retain talent and ensure mutual benefits. 3. To seize a win-win opportunity. Not all negotiations stem from problems. Sometimes, they serve as a means to explore new opportunities for collaboration. For example, when two companies seek to combine resources to develop a joint product, they must negotiate terms regarding benefits, responsibilities, and implementation methods. An effective negotiation can help both sides maximize the value they receive. Regardless of the reason for negotiation, the fundamental condition for initiating one is that both parties must believe that reaching an agreement is better than having no agreement at all. Psychological studies suggest that individuals tend to adopt different approaches to negotiation, commonly referred to as personal negotiation styles. Researchers have identified 5 prevalent negotiation styles. Accommodating style. This style prioritizes relationships above all. Negotiators using this approach focus on meeting the needs of the other party rather than pursuing their own interests. Avoiding style. Individuals with this style tend to remain neutral, avoid conflict, and often let the other party make decisions. Collaborating style. This approach seeks win-win solutions by fostering creative problem solving to satisfy the needs of all parties involved. Competing style. Negotiators who adopt this style prioritize their personal interest and are willing to confront challenges head-on to achieve their goals. Compromising style. This is a balanced approach in which both parties make mutual concessions to reach a common agreement. Each negotiation style has its own strengths and weaknesses. Understanding both your style and the other party's negotiation style, along with applying effective psychological strategies, can facilitate smoother, more productive negotiations that yield mutual benefits. You're listening to the podcast Organizational Psychology Insights by CareFor EAP. I am Hoon Kun, your host. Emotions play a crucial role in finding solutions during negotiations, yet they are often misunderstood, poorly controlled, or mismanaged by those involved. An effective negotiator must consider not only economic, political, and practical factors, but also their own emotional state and that of all parties involved. For decades, the prevailing negotiation mindset was to separate the personal factors from the issue being negotiated. However, in reality, people are often an integral part of the problem in many negotiations. Even in commercial disputes, where parties frequently insist that this is not personal, just business, emotions undeniably play a significant role. Modern research has shown that emotions and rationality in negotiation function like the yin and yang, not as opposing forces but as complementary ones. In simple terms, the essence of negotiation and mediation is not only about analyzing conflicting interests and developing optimal solutions through logical reasoning, it also requires recognizing the underlying emotional factors that influence the negotiation process. To illustrate this, consider the following scenario. A startup and an investment fund are in the final stages of negotiating an investment deal. After weeks of discussions, both sides have agreed on key terms, including the investment amount, equity share, and governance structure. However, in the final meeting, the startup's founder becomes visibly upset when investors propose a clause that limits his strategic decision-making power without board approval. Feeling undervalued and losing trust in the investors' intentions, the founder decides to walk away from the deal. A few months later, the startup faced cash flow difficulties and was forced to accept a less favorable deal from another investor with more disadvantageous terms. Meanwhile, the initial investment fund also missed out on the opportunity to invest in a promising company. This scenario clearly demonstrates the significant role that emotions play in finding solutions during negotiations. The inability to manage emotions effectively led to financial losses and missed opportunities for both parties. Emotions are a natural response to stimulate situations, often accompanied by physiological changes and a personal urge to take action. They can influence negotiators both positively and negatively. Specifically, researcher Shapiro in 2009 classified the impacts of emotions into two categories: negative effects, including distraction. Heightened emotions can cause negotiators to lose focus on key issues. Impaired thinking. Intense emotions, when not effectively controlled, can reduce logical reasoning and hinder sound decision-making. Positive effects of emotions, on the other hand, include better understanding of needs. Emotional awareness helps individuals recognize their own needs and interests, as well as those of the other party. Conveying information. Emotions help negotiators communicate important information about their stance, expectations, and how they wish to be treated during the negotiation. This is why organizational psychologists today are highly interested in applying emotional intelligence (EQ) to enhance negotiation capabilities in business settings. Based on Daniel Goleman's EQ model, EQ can be simply understood as a set of skills that help an individual recognize and manage themselves effectively and understand and influence others. More specifically, the four key aspects of EQ influence negotiation skills as follows. 1. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to understand and recognize one's own emotions and how they may impact decision-making. In negotiations, a negotiator must objectively assess their emotional journey and build a reasonable foundation of confidence, allowing them to manage themselves effectively. Ask yourself, how do I feel about the upcoming negotiation? Do I feel anxious and lacking confidence because this is my first major deal? Frustrated because the parties are too rigid and difficult to negotiate it with? Annoyed because I had a flat tire on the way to the meeting? Or optimistic and positive because the weather is nice and my colleague just smiled at me? Any of these emotions can affect how a negotiator perceives and behaves. A good mood can work wonders in a negotiation as it helps spread confidence in conflict resolution. Conversely, a bad mood can ruin even the most promising deals. 2. Self-management. Self-management is the ability to control one's emotions and impulses while adapting to changing circumstances. Some individuals tend to suppress their true feelings, but emotional suppression can worsen the situation. Bottling up frustration, anger, or other strong emotions can impair thinking and decision-making in negotiations. An emotionally competent negotiator knows how to choose an appropriate response rather than being dominated by emotions or repressing them. With strong self-management skills, they can react appropriately to emotional outbursts from other parties. 3. Social awareness. Social awareness is the ability to perceive, understand, and respond to others' emotions while grasping the dynamics of social relationships. This skill focuses on the others during interactions and includes the development of empathy, the ability to understand and share emotions with others, organizational awareness, an understanding of power dynamics, culture, and structures within an organization, and service mentality, a willingness to support and respond to the needs of others. 4. Relationship management. Relationship management is the ability to inspire, influence, and develop others while handling conflict effectively. This is particularly crucial in cross-cultural negotiations. Different cultures vary in how they express emotions and their perspectives on negotiation and conflict resolution. These differences can impact how disagreements are expressed, the level and type of acceptable emotional expression, the necessity of level of detail in written contracts, and the way trust is built. In collectivist cultures like Vietnam, effective trust, built through closeness, empathy, and relational bonds, can be more important than cognitive trust, which is based on competence, skills, and reliability. Understanding these cultural nuances helps negotiators navigate relationships and agreements more effectively. You are listening to the podcast Organizational Psychology Insights by CareFor EAP. I am Hương Kun, your host. In the early 2000s, Disney faced a difficult period as its animated films failed to meet expectations, leading to declines in revenue and reputation. Meanwhile, under Steve Jobs' leadership, Pixar consistently achieved success with films like Monsters, Inc. and Finding Nemo. Although Disney and Pixar had collaborated in the 1990s, their relationship became strained due to various conflicts, especially under Disney's then CEO Michael Eisner. When Bob Iger took over as Disney's CEO in 2005, he recognized that restoring the relationship with Pixar was crucial for Disney's revival. As soon as he assumed his new role, Bob Iger proactively arranged a meeting with Steve Jobs at Pixar's headquarters. Normally, in such negotiations, the acquiring company would emphasize its strengths and push for its own interest. However, Iger took a different approach. Instead of immediately advocating for Disney's advantages, he chose to be completely transparent. He openly praised Jobs for his achievements at both Pixar and Apple. He expressed deep admiration for how Pixar leveraged technology to enhance storytelling and animation. This moment marked the beginning of Jobs' trust in Iger and Disney. Iger remained entirely honest with Jobs, acknowledging that Jobs was well aware of Pixar's value and had clear expectations for any potential partnership. This was a clear demonstration of emotional intelligence in action. Iger put himself in Jobs' position and asked, "What does Steve Jobs truly need at this moment?" He set aside his ego and personal agenda, keeping the bigger goal in mind, building a long-term relationship that would create value for both companies and their customers. He consistently acted in alignment with that objective, ultimately leading to one of the most successful mergers in the entertainment industry. As a result, the negotiation was a great success. In 2006, Disney officially acquired Pixar for approximately $7.4 billion. Following the merger, Disney experienced remarkable growth. From 2006 to 2016, the company's total shareholder return (TSR) reached 22% annually. Additionally, the synergy between Disney and Pixar led to the creation of highly successful animated films such as Toy Story 3, Frozen, Inside Out, and Zootopia, which not only achieved impressive box office results but also won numerous prestigious awards. After the merger, both companies respected each other's autonomy and unique creative cultures while fostering collaboration between their teams to produce high-quality films. The successful negotiation between Pixar and Disney highlights the crucial role of emotional intelligence, as demonstrated by both visionary leaders, Bob Iger and Steve Jobs. Specifically, Bob Iger's empathy enabled him to put himself in Jobs' position, sincerely listening to his concerns and expectations, particularly regarding the preservation of Pixar's creative culture. On the other hand, Steve Jobs' openness allowed him to recognize and appreciate Iger's sincerity, ultimately paving the way to further discussions, even though he had previously vowed never to work with Disney again. This case study illustrates how both leaders showcased high emotional intelligence, prioritizing collective benefits over personal egos, and fostering a negotiation environment built on mutual respect and trust. Welcome back to the podcast series Organizational Psychology Insights by CareFor EAP, where we dive into knowledge from organizational psychology to support personal development, enhance well-being, and create a healthy, happy, and highly productive workforce. I am Hyun-kun, your host. Negotiation is not just about exchanging benefits and interest. It's a human interaction where emotions play a crucial role. Emotional intelligence helps negotiators build sustainable relationships, establish trust, and optimize outcomes for both parties. Below are strategies to enhance EQ in negotiation based on Shapiro and Fisher's 2005 5 Core Concerns model. 1. Show appreciation. Dissatisfaction in negotiation often stems from feeling undervalued. To mitigate this, Negotiators should practice active listening, ensure the other party feels their opinions and perspectives are acknowledged, recognize positive contributions. Even in disagreement, show respect for the other party's thoughts and input. Focus on ideas, not personal attacks. Keep discussions centered on the issue at hand rather than criticizing individuals. 2. Build affiliation. The closer a relationship between the parties, the smoother the negotiation. Ways to strengthen affiliation include find common ground, identify shared backgrounds, interests, or values, show sincerity. Small gestures like a handshake, a sincere compliment, or an open conversation can ease tensions. Turn opponents into allies. View negotiation partners as collaborators rather than competitors. 3. Respect autonomy. Tension arises when one party feels coerced or lacks control. To reduce this, agree on the negotiation process. Discuss how negotiations will proceed rather than focusing solely on outcomes. Give space for decision making. Avoid imposing decisions. Instead, offer options that allow the other party a sense of control. Ensure fairness in discussions. Make the process feel like a balanced exchange rather than manipulation. 4. Acknowledge status. If a party feels their status is undermined, they may react negatively. Ways to acknowledge status include show respect, use appropriate language and gestures that align with the other party's position, recognize expertise, avoid unnecessary disputes in areas where the other party holds superior knowledge, transition smoothly from formal to casual discussion. Start negotiations with a respectful tone before gradually shifting to a more relaxed interaction. 5. Clarify roles. Understanding both one's own role and that of the other party reduces tension and fosters cooperation. Practical applications include clearly defined roles, understand responsibilities and adjust negotiation styles accordingly. Respect the other party role. Acknowledge their contributions to the negotiation process. Maintain professionalism. Ensure both parties' roles are appropriately represented throughout the negotiation. In short, EQ is not just a supplementary skill, but the foundation of successful negotiations. A skilled negotiator does not merely speak but also listens and understands. Applying the 5 core concerns model alongside EQ strategies enhances negotiation skills, builds strong relationships, and achieves optimal outcomes. A good negotiator encourages all participants to speak. An excellent negotiator encourages all participants to listen. In today's podcast, I hope you've gained a clearer understanding that EQ is not just an advantage, but a fundamental pillar in the art of negotiation. A skilled negotiator does not rely solely on sharp reasoning or compelling data, but also needs the ability to understand emotions, regulate reactions, and build trust with their counterpart. With high EQ, we don't just listen to respond, we listen to understand. We don't just speak to express our viewpoints, we communicate to connect and find harmonious solutions. In every negotiation, the ability to manage emotions, remain composed, and empathize with the other party helps create consensus, resolve conflicts tactfully, and achieve sustainable agreements. Developing EQ not only enhances negotiation skills, but also serve as a key to building strong relationships and achieving long-term success in business. And that brings us to the end of today's podcast episode. I sincerely appreciate the attention and support from all the businesses and organizations tuning in. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, where we'll explore the topic: why emotionally resonant marketing campaigns are more successful.